वाहे गुरु 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 वाहे गुरु। सतगुरु नानक परगटया मिटी धुंध जग चानन होआ। सतगुरु नानक परगटया मिटी धुंध जग चानन हुआ। जो कर सूरज निकलया तारे छपे अंधेर पलोआ। तारे छपे अंधेर पलोआ। सतगुरु नानक परगटया सिंह बुके मिर्गावली बनी जाए ना तीर तरोआ। जिथे बाबा पैर तरे पूजा सड़ता पर सोआ। मिटी धुंध जग चानन होआ। सतगुरु नानक परगटया सब जगत दे नानक याद मते जे को। कद कद अंदर तन मिसाल होवे कीर्तन सदा विसोआ। मिटी धुंध जग चानन होआ। सतगुरु नानक परगटया बाबे तारे चारे चक नौखंड पृथ्वी सच्चा डोआ। गुरमुख कल विच परगट होआ। गुरमुख कल विच परगट होआ। मिटी धुंध जग चानन होआ। सतगुरु नानक परगटया मिटी धुंध जग चानन होआ। जो कर सूरज निकलया तारे छपे अंधेर पलोआ। तारे छपे अंधेर पलोआ। सतगुरु नानक परगटया
Thank you everyone for listening to it so blissfully. Let's begin our day. Further, I would like to request our principal ma'am to virtually welcome our guests with a small token of love. I would like to request ma'am to kindly virtually felicitate our guest of honor for the day, Professor Neeja ma'am. We welcome you, ma'am.
We welcome you, ma'am. Please accept our greetings. We seek your blessings.
Thank you, Jyoti.
Ma'am, whenever you will visit Delhi, and memento also, ma'am.
This is for you. Just
and a memento also, ma'am.
Token of regard.
A very warm welcome, ma'am. Whenever you will visit Delhi, we would surely want you to visit us and grace us with your presence in our college. We really look forward to have the future endeavors with you, ma'am.
Can you increase the volume? I can't hear you properly somehow.
Okay.
I'm very far from Delhi, so naturally maybe some weather. Can you increase the volume from there?
Is it audible to you now, ma'am?
With lot of difficulty, maybe I come closer to the my laptop. And
All right. Maybe if you will put the earphones or headphones, ma'am, it will become more convenient for you.
I don't have that here.
Okay.
No problem. I'll manage.
We will
Am I
try to
audible?
speak as.
Am I
Yes, yeah,
audible?
ma'am. You are audible.
Okay.
We'll try to speak
Okay.
as loud as we can, ma'am. Before we begin further, I would request our faculty, assistant professor and coordinator of FDP, Ms. Ankita Masi, to kindly introduce us to NEP.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Okay. Respected dignitaries, the visionary Professor Neerja Shukla ma'am, our mentor and source of inspiration, respected principal ma'am, participants and GNCE members, a very warm welcome to you in 1 week FDP 2021. Friends, in the recent times, our institution has achieved phenomenal heights. We have gathered here with the intention to shape a better education system. The FDP will be enlightening for all of us regarding new education policy NEP 2020. The new education policy has been approved by the Union Cabinet on July 29th of 2020. It is the first education policy of the 21st century which aims to address the many growing developmental imperatives of our country and is aligned to the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The new NEP 2020 will change the face and future of teacher education in India by introducing Integrated Teacher Education Program ITEP. In view of all this, a faculty development program is organized by Guru Nanak College of Education in order to bring all of us together on one platform to discuss, assess the presence, need, promotion, and introduction of NEP and its impact on teacher education system in India. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I welcome everyone who is connected with us on this FDP through online and the offline mode. Thank you for your presence. Today's session will be conducted by Professor Neerja Shukla. She taught her humble career as a teacher and she rose to the position of a professor, and still she shows a keen interest in the educational process. Professor Neerja Shukla, former head Department of Education of Groups with Special Needs, former consultant cum faculty advisor, Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University, has a vast teaching experience. She rendered her services in many organizations like Banaras Hindu University, Allahabad University, NCRT, and Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University. During her tenure at NCRT, she provided leadership to the departments as their heads like Department of Education of Groups with Special Needs, Department of Women's Studies, and Publication Department. As an academician of NCRT, she has been involved in preparation of NCFSE 2000 and NCF 2005. She has been a member of various academic bodies of various universities, Jamia Millia Islamia, Dayal Bagh Educational Institute, Aligarh Muslim University, and many more. She is also involved in the development of 2-year B.Ed, M.Ed, B.Ed Special Education, and M.Ed Special Education curriculum. Ma'am also represented MHRD, Government of India, as its representative in several international forums. We extend our heartful welcome to you, ma'am. We are looking forward to gain from you today's session. I request Professor Neerja Shukla, ma'am, to please say a few words and enlighten the audience with your precious words, followed by your session for today. Thank you so much, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Namaskar, Sat Shri Akal. Firstly, let me thank Jyoti. I told her that I'm in Bangalore and I had just come for some personal work. And she said, no, we can arrange online presentation by you. I said, maybe next time, because I'm so scared of technology. You can see my age, and I think we were in 40s when we started using computer. And I was one of those 15 people in NCERT who had requested NCERT authorities to give us training in use of computer. That time, big computers were there, dot matrix were there. I remember my teachers who had worked in survey and data processing unit, and they helped us in learning. And several of us, I may name some of them, were part of this 15 persons group who learned how to use computer and use it. One was Professor N.K. Ambasht, who is, I think, 80 plus now. He is well known in the field, and he was an IOS chairperson and used technology for online examination system. And he introduced that in through NIOS. Then another was Professor A.K. Mishra. He became joint director of CIVE, which is a pioneer institution in Bhopal for vocational education. So I remember these people who were very senior to us, who learned how to use computer, and that has become very handy for me. But once yesterday, Ankita knows and Jyoti also know, I was so scared because I had a new computer. It did not have Microsoft, and I was asked to download Team. So I asked my son, he's working in a private sector. He said, can you help me? So poor man, he came and he downloaded it for me, and he told me how to upload the presentation when I'm doing it. So I know how to enter the Chakravyuh, but I don't know how to come out. So you have to bear with me. And the topic which we have selected for this professional development program, I think Guru Nanak College of Education has selected, is a very, very relevant thing. And you have very wisely divided them into different days. Only one day you have 2 sessions. But these areas, you have heard 3 speakers. Yesterday, Professor Harar Ahmed, I understand, was here, and he spoke on use of web for evaluation. Evaluation is a very important aspect of education and teacher education, of course. And then you have MC Sharma in the beginning. He's a very learned person, very experienced, has worked in different capacities in different areas. And our dear Dhananjay Joshi ji, who is leading education department of Guru Gobind Singh IP University. I think all the 3 speakers were chosen very, very carefully. And once I talk to the group here, you may find some overlapping, because I was so tense with my presentation. Only yesterday I sent it and requested Ankita and Jyoti. I said, you have to display it there because suppose this system goes off, I'll be handicapped. So I have my computer with me. I have my mobile also ready with me as an alternative system. If there is something which goes wrong with the system, at least I have an alternative system. So you can see I'm still a learner, and that's why I get very nervous, very, very nervous when I have to talk to a group. So firstly, I will request all the people who are there, you are all my colleagues. I always say we are member of the same family, academics. And towards the end, I have jotted down certain points, but at the end, if some of you want to add to that, not necessarily ask question, we will appreciate it, because we are still learning, and this is a phase which is very difficult for us. Even today, there is a program in Meghalaya. We had completed the project. We have attended the schools, and we had communicated with SNC members there who are basically from Khasi tribe. Tribal education of tribes is a very important component of this. So I was wondering, as after this is over, I may talk to my teammates there, what has happened today, because I decided not to go there because of this program. I thought, let me concentrate only on one thing. Otherwise, things are divided into piecemeals and you don't reach any pay. this period, when we are talking about teacher education and relevance of national education policy for teacher education, we have to remember that the situation has changed. Situation has changed. It is new normal. You are all sitting in your rooms. I can see Jyoti wearing the mask. I'm here in my flat because I have independent flat here beside my son's flat. So I'm comfortable, but here when we go out, we interact with people, we don't know how safe we are, though we take all precautions. So new normal is very different from what we had for some time. And this new normal is going to last for some time. There was a group of IIT Delhi graduates, and I had interacted with some international participants for women, especially from disability, from tribal population. So that was women, then disability, and then tribal, three components put together. And we found that things have changed at all. A lot of people from corporate sector were participating. One of the person was traveling in his country, and he was talking to us from his car. So the situation is very different. We have to adjust to the new normal. New normal is going to stay there for quite some time. And what is new normal? New normal is we have to use technology. So even people like us who want to survive in the system and who still have opportunity to learn, we have to learn technology as children have learned. Children have used technology for accessing curriculum, talking to their teachers, talking to counselors for certain things, and they are being benefited. So this is a very good trend. Besides that, current developments which are taking place in our country have to be taken into cognizance. The country is moving towards Atmanirbharta, and we are talking of Samagra Shiksha. Samagra Shiksha, you all know what is that. I am sure everybody has learned, has read the NEP. So what I have jotted down certain points, but with that I will share my experience of field which I gained in last 1 year just before lockdown period started. So once we know the grassroots reality, it's easier for us because everybody does not get the opportunity. I got the opportunity for 3-4 programs and went to the field, talked to children, talked to their parents, talked to elder people of a tribal village who had done so much for the school. So ultimate is children have to learn. And as our Prime Minister also mentioned, children have to learn how to think, and children also have to learn how to learn. So along with children, we who are in the system, we also have to learn how to think and how to learn. And then only we can help students do that. So for that, it's very necessary to know the context of the child. And it is not possible for any one of us to know everything. So I think before we start, country starts to work for teacher preparation and develop a new curriculum, we will have to know the context. And context cannot be understood by sitting in a room. You have to go to the field. So I think involving more and more people, including students who are from a particular group, is very important. So decentralization for doing preparation of curriculum for teacher education is very necessary. So stakeholders, even learners, their teachers, some of the teachers who were awarded on Independence Day, you must have read about their contribution. Most of them had contributed to new pedagogy and innovation introduced in a classroom. So that was very important. I read some of them and I thought a teacher is innovative only when the teacher focuses her attention on students' learning and try to evolve something new, not repeat something. So as we know, that national professional standards for teachers is going to be developed by NCT, and it will be available by 2022, I think. Before I will suggest that if we can give some input in terms of how children learn, how does a child from tribal community learn in a multilingual situation, or how does a child who is blind, who is visually impaired, Divyang hai, how does he learn or she learns in a situation, because their learning is very different from the way we learn. Children have learning difficulties. This is very well accepted. And these things have to be taken into cognizance. Even children who are from EWS category have different environment. Most of them are first generation learner. Their parents are not even educated. I work with some children there, and therefore I'll keep on referring to their problems once I make the presentation, have prepared a presentation. So what I was saying, that lot of preparation is needed before we start working towards preparation of teacher education curriculum. The school curriculum also has to be ready. When NCF 2005 was ready, then only we developed national curriculum framework for teacher education. And then 2014 was again brought a big change in the system. 2 years BA, 2 years MA. People, I was involved as I was told that I was involved in a presentation in preparation of that. So things are happening in the way, but I think new approach for development of teacher education curriculum has to be adopted this time, and the national priorities and national developments and the trends and the market requirement of this are to be kept in mind. Language has come in a big way. UNESCO has said that about 220 languages have disappeared in last 50 years, and about 197 are endangered language. So language, all languages, we used to call them dialect also. They are every language does not have a script. Some of the languages are written in Devanagari script, some in regional language, some in English also. So language plays a very important role in education of children from diversified groups. It's important that because we have different forms of teacher education curriculum, you know, it has been mentioned that 3 years plus 1 year will be integrated education, where content and pedagogy, they are integrated. So this content versus pedagogy, and how much of content is to be given and how much of pedagogy is to be given for teacher preparation will have to be solved, I think, consciously, because content is already given by content teachers and pedagogy will be the responsibility of teacher educators, I think, how to use that in the classroom. In this morning, I was, while I was glancing through Facebook, at times I do that, I found a very small video. Mother comes with 2 children. One is a grown-up and another child is 7 or 8-year-old. And father is reading some book and eating an apple. The mother says, see this boy, he has scored only 35%. What will happen to him when he goes out to the market? Father is very relaxed. He says, I am having apple and the apple is there. What do you think? Would the apples have the same taste? Mother said, no. He said, same way. 2 children have different aptitudes. They have different levels of understanding. So why do you want to disturb the peace of home and also discourage the child? And the younger one child goes and hugs his father. That is individual difference. These things have to be consciously brought to the notice of each parent, each child, each teacher, that each child is different. So this is a general population I'm talking about. And now we come to the presentation of slide. Are you managing from there or I upload it?
Ma'am, we are managing.
You have done that. Could we go to the next? Let me. Can I manage it from here? No? Slide show कर सकते हैं वहाँ से?
Ma'am, I can change the slide. You can just say change slide. I'll change.
Second. मैं अपलोड करूँ यहाँ से? हाँ ये टेबल से. हाँ ठीक है. If you can help, I'll be grateful.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Diversity, we are talking about, I just mentioned about this, some of these things, Samagri Shiksha and this thing. Market is changing very fast. All teachers are not able to be absorbed in the system because they don't have the required skills which are needed in a particular set of schools. So the market demand, what type of teachers are needed? The new policy has talked about different subjects could be offered by the child in 9, 10th, 11, 12, 4 years. And they say there won't be any clear-cut demarcation of humanities stream, science stream, commerce stream, so they can go. This is very important aspect from my point of view, because the market is changing and here you cannot survive in the market and compete with others at the international level if you have only specialized information in one area. You need to know economics, you need to know chemistry, you need to know language, you need to know business management, and then only you can, yesterday the budget presentation, there was a mention about the startups. Lot of things are happening in the field and children are exploring these opportunities. Now this is not the time when people want to go for a fixed type of job, as we had decided before taking up a job that we want to go for teaching. So we had our specialized thing and we had specialized subjects and we mastered that subject. But now you have to have knowledge of various sorts of multidisciplinary approach is what is needed in the market. So we are prepared, when we are talking to children, we are preparing the children, we have to evolve ways by which we can pass on the knowledge along with the traditional, they have talked of Indian system, old system, along with that, with modern development, and then prepare child for life. If the child is not prepared, the life child is likely to fail because he will not be, she will not be able to meet the demand of the time as well as market. So what is marketable? So these days, as I mentioned, children are learning from, am I audible? It's okay?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay. Okay. I'm trying to be loud. Because what I was saying, anyway, so change in the market will demand certain information, and the knowledge has to be given to the child, and the child has to be encouraged to use that knowledge for exploring the new dimensions of learning and knowledge. This teacher education curriculum, as I mentioned last but one, this thing, the point which is mentioned here in this slide is teacher education curriculum is ever evolving. I put within quotes, because the thing is, even if I had thought of something yesterday about teacher preparation, today I changed it because the things have changed in one day, 24 hours. So since things are changing, we are also changing our knowledge. I mentioned about the video, a small video, and yesterday I was listening to the budget. I found that there are 4 crore Dalit scholarship for children. I personally don't use this term Dalit, but that was used by media in a presentation. So these scholarships are meant for children who are coming from socially backward sector. And there was a mention about some new school, I think 758 new Eklavya schools being opened in tribal areas. So you see that in budget also these things are happening. Actually, when we talk of inclusion, though I'm using the term inclusion, but we should have, I think, Samagri Shiksha के तहत हम कह सकते थे इसको. We are using, the government also is allocating funds for reaching this population. On 10th August 2020, a dynamic website was inaugurated on Ministry of Tribal Affairs website. And Ministry of Tribal Affairs is working for tribal population. I keep on shifting, so please forgive me for that. Otherwise, I'm likely to miss the point. They have about 11 programs for the empowerment of tribals. Some scholarships are there. Scholarships, regular scholarship for a school, then higher education, then going abroad also. So they have a lot of scholarships and lot of support for selling the product of tribal areas in the market. They have decided about the price also. So these things are available, because once we make a program for any group, we have to refer to the data. If we don't refer to the reliable data, we are likely to reach a wrong conclusion. So I think that is very handy, and that is why, and that was done during this COVID-19 period. So this is the new trend which has happened, and things are moving. So we should not forget, and that's why I decided to refer to that. Second slide. Now we are talking of the groups. We are not talking only for a disadvantaged group when we refer to diversity. We are talking of all children, as I said. Disadvantaged children, as you know, which have been also defined in RT Act of 2019 to 2009. I have mentioned some of these things here. Disadvantaged children with disability. Whenever we talk of inclusion, the first thing which comes to our mind is, oh, Nirja is going to talk about disability. And if I don't have a child with disability in my class, I switch off my mind. I think of something else which is more useful for me, which is of priority, and then forget about it. But no, this inclusion is not confined to disabilities only. This is confined to, this refers to each and every child of a class where it's a very difficult task, you know. So much is expected from teachers, so we have to give the support and resources also to the teacher. Teacher cannot handle everything on her own because of certain limitation, individual limitation. I also have limitations. So if I'm working for a particular group, I have to know about the culture of that group. I have to know the norms there. I have to know the ethics of that group. I remember Professor Ambasht, I mentioned, when he was working, he's a PhD in anthropology. So he once mentioned he was doing some field work in northeastern state. And as a young boy, they were going and there was a stone. He was kicking that stone and then going forward. Suddenly he realized that so many people, they gathered around him. It's wrong to think that tribals are people from some other planet. They are very different from us. You talk to them. I talk to girls, especially from Kasturba Balika Vidyalaya and this Eklavya schools, residential Eklavya school. They are as bright as our children from an urban area. And if you are not told that a particular child comes from a particular tribal community, you can never imagine that the child comes from that. So the system is changed. the education system, a lot of inputs have gone into they have got very good teachers. They have introduced a lot of variety of SUPWs, not only stitching thing for girls, but craft making, computer repairing, mobile repairing. So many things have been introduced in a residential school. And these children are in contact with their teachers for longer time. So this tribal children, I was like, so you have to refer to their. I was talking about person number. I said he was hitting it, and people said, "Why are you doing it?" He said, "I enjoy it once I'm walking." Then they said, "The stone which you are hitting with your foot is our God." And he realized that, and he said, when we go to a community, we go to a culture, we should first know about that culture and then go to the community. So there are fisheries. When linguistic minorities, linguistic people, language is a barrier, as I said, in communication. And if I'll refer them this issue when I talk about tribal education, education of tribal children. I visited 4 states last year and interacted with them and interacted with their teachers also. So found that certain things which we imagine are happening in the field are not happening. Certain things which we think are not happening in the field are happening. So we have to be very cautious. EWS category and weaker section, 25% children, 25% children are from this particular group, these various groups in our general schools. These children have specific problems. EWS category children are not well off. I'll refer to one incident. I'm not boasting about myself, but forgive me for that. But I'll say this was the time when a lot of people helped these students. One of the report of Delhi said that 15% children were not coming back to the school system when they started operating it through technology. So there is a manager in our society. He is class 8 passed, his wife is illiterate, and his 2 children are studying in 2 very good schools for Dwarka. One is DAV school in sector 6 and there is Mahavir Enclave, the missionary schools. So this boy who is studying in DAV Dwarka, his father managed a desktop for him. And his teacher is very good, very supportive, because I talked to her for understanding this child's problem. And she was very cooperative. She went out of her way to help these children. He did not have, like I don't have a earphone here. He did not have a camera and he did not have a earphone. So I asked this, they are from OBC category also, EWS. I asked his father, I said, then how does he manage when he wants to ask something to the teacher? He said he raises his finger and then the teacher knows that he wants to ask something and then he chat box mein likh ke, he communicates with them. So I did not know what to be given. Naturally, I took help of my son. I said, you identify one camera and one earphone which can be attached with the desktop. And he did it. I purchased it from Amazon and gave it to that child. And then I still have the message from the child. Thank you, Dadi, he calls me. Thank you, Dadi, for helping me. He was so happy. His exams are just over. And he is so happy he can communicate with the teacher. So these children are learning, and community. I'm a part of the community. I knew about his problem. I helped that child. You might have helped some other child also. They are learning, and community is coming forward for supporting this. This is a very important aspect, that parents want their children to get good education, and they are going out of their way to help to support their education. This man gets only 7,500, I think, that is his salary. It's very difficult with that much salary to manage a family of 4 people. I'm sorry. I get very emotional when I talk about these things. Next, please. So we are talking about these children. Some data I have given here. Children with disabilities constitute 1.7% of the total population, and 75% children with disability don't attend school. This is the 2019 data. And below poverty line data is rural areas. You can see urban areas is almost same. NSSO 1999, I think this is 1999 or 2019. I'm not sure, but this is NSSO data. Maybe I'm wrong, I'll check it. Population, zero poverty line. So these people are now our target group, and they have to be covered through education. So once we know that these are the people who are going to learn along with other children in the classroom, we have to know their background, we have to know their traditions, we have to know their support system at home, and whether we can help them in forming a group of students outside the school who could work together and prepare themselves, learn from each other and prepare themselves for next level. Next, please. Here are some points which are why do we want to include them in the system, because these are essential things and most of us know about it. Attention span, I would like to say. I'm very particular about this because younger children, we are talking about 3 + 2, first 5 years for foundational learning. The children at that age have very little time span. You teach them for longer time and they forget what they were talking. Teacher was talking about. The concentration is very low. So this is very important. The second thing is language. Language we use. Language is not one thing. Language of textbooks. Language used by teacher for teaching with the help of those textbooks. Language used by teacher to interact with the child in the classroom. Language used by two children playing in the field, and language used by those parents, those children at home. There are different forms of language. So children are very quick in learning language, and this has also been said in NAP. So language efficiency skills are very important at the initial level. This is very important for two groups, especially all the groups, but two groups especially, children with disabilities, because children, especially those who have speech and hearing problem, they use sign language. Sign language we mentioned in an approach paper of NCERT for implementation of NAP, then sign language should be given the state of language because that is the mother tongue of those children. And besides that, the sign language has has different types of sign language. There is one is Indian Sign Language, and then local context is there. I have mentioned it in the disability sector that these are there. That in tribal areas we have multilingual situation. I was listening to a presentation of Professor Mohanty, who is from GNU, on the occasion of Foundation Day of Psychology Department of Allahabad University, which was my parent organization before I joined NCERT. And he said that not much has been said for multilingual situation. Multilingual situation, his area of work is multilingual education, tribal education. So he raised certain issues which I am quoting. He said that when a child thinks, you want the child to think and think. How does the child think? The child thinks in his own language. You ask me to think, I will think in English, Hindi, and then if I have seen something in English, I will think in English because I am a bilingual person. Most of Indians are not even bilingual, they are multilingual. They speak different languages. Jyoti, ask Jyoti, she knows Punjabi, that is mother tongue, she knows Hindi, she knows English, and maybe she knows some other languages also. I can see Jyoti on the screen. So I said, so most of us are multilingual. I understand Bangla, but I can't write. I understand Bhojpuri, I understand Awadhi, so I'm also multilingual. Punjabi also, I've started understanding now because I've been in Delhi for 45 years. So these language related issues are very complicated issues and that have to be dealt at the grassroots level only. As I said, I was going to mention that we have integrated course of teacher education. Then there is a provision of 2 years B.Ed or 1 year B.Ed after doing graduation. If you want to 2 years of B.Ed education will continue for some time, and then it will be integrated education. Then they are after doing B.Ed. Then M.Ed is there. So if I have done MA in one subject, I can also do 1 year M.Ed for knowing about the pedagogy and become the subject expert. And besides that, what I like is small program at BIT's level, DIET's level, and even at a cluster school complex level have been introduced. So these small certificate programs which are given at this level could also be provided through distance mode to teachers. Suppose I want to work in a tribal area of Jharkhand where Santhalis are there or where Oraon are there. I should be knowledgeable about the culture they have, what language, the basic knowledge about the language they know, and also to interact with children at the initial level. When the child comes to the school, the child comes with the knowledge of mother tongue only. And in the school, while interacting with the teacher and other students, the child learns other language. They have a contact language which is called common language like Sadri in tribal areas, which they speak in school. But when we went to the school in this state, we found that there were some government schools, but the teacher did not know the language of children. And there were some posters around the classroom. They were hanging from the wall from one corner. So nobody took any care to take care of. This is just one school, not all the schools. One did not fix it properly. And then students were asked, who is he? Mahatma Gandhi was there, Radhakrishnan's photograph was there. Children did not know who that person is. So what is the use of having something around the class when the children cannot use that they are there so that the child knows about them, knows about the values, knows about the ideas they introduce in the system, and learn about them, and then interact with teacher, and then acquire that knowledge about them. So this is it. And there was a school where senior classes were there. Of course, in senior classes, you don't have that much problem of language and communication, but none of the teachers knew the local language of the child. So abstract thinking, concept formation, for all these things which are mentioned in NAP, you have to know you have to have sound basis of a language. So this is an opportunity which we could explore for developing such certificate courses which are focused on themes, and teachers can be benefited by that. Next, please. Inclusion, as I said, is actually it's not a one thing. It's a process, and there are three things which I have mentioned in the slide: is presence of the child in the school, participation means class participation in the class, and achievement. All the three things put together refer to inclusion. Then it is identification or removal of barriers. Barriers are not only physical, they are mental also, and they are curricular barriers also. If I am given an example from a rural area, and I have never been to a rural area, it's very difficult for me as a learner to understand what the teacher is telling me. So these barriers have to be different. These are not only physical, as I said, they are academic, they are organizational, and they are related with technology also. Technology, most of the schools have computers, and if there is no electricity in the village, which happened in some of the villages of Meghalaya, these computers cannot be used by students for learning. So this is one type of barrier. So there are a lot of barriers: human barriers, physical barriers, academic barriers. You can imagine any type of barrier, you will find that is there. So it is a this thing, and inclusion is basically, as we said, those who are at risk of marginalization. I mean, they are in the group, but they are not learning. Exclusion means they are excluded, they are not paid any attention, and underachievement. Underachievement is very important for us to know, because we have been talking about learning outcomes by all children, and there were so many attempts. MLL, minimum levels of learning, if you remember, was introduced, and some of you might have studied that in your curriculum. And then that also was introduced to bring the quality of school education up, and helping all children learn a particular skill and competency to the level of mastery. So inclusion, as I said, is basically actually people are enrolled, but if they don't learn, it's not inclusion. So it's very difficult task. I'm using three varies. It's very difficult task, and each child is a class itself. There are 25 children from special categories of disadvantage, and if there are 25 classes, each child is a class in herself, and they have different ways of learning, and they have different problems. So the teacher task is very different. This has been again and again emphasized in all the policies and program of action which was prepared for in 1992. But still we find that some children drop out. I'll refer to dropout rate of tribal population at primary and secondary. Basically, since they don't find that their culture is addressed, they don't feel that their needs are fulfilled, and gradually they feel disinterested and they drop out. So we have to hold them in the class, pay special attention so that they stay in the system. They will be able to complete school education only when they stay in the system and they learn. Next, please. Am I too slow? These are the things for equitable word has been used in NAP. So equity and the thing, I have mentioned some of these points, so I can skip this slide. equitable, and when we are talking of full equity, later on plural society, we are aware of that. I think many of the speakers might have mentioned it, and other speakers who are going to join the program tomorrow onwards, they also will talk about equitable. Equitable is important. If you don't give enough inputs in a particular system to bring it up, or in a particular setup to help children learn as fast or as good as other children, it's not equitable. You cannot go for a second-rate education for a particular group. So for disability, especially, once we talked to some people, and there were some court cases against CBSE and NCERT also for mathematics. They said all the questions cannot be attempted by children who are blind. So we worked together and we came out with a proposition. Now you will see the mathematics paper is very different. Children with a visual impairment have options which they can easily attain. I will share that if you that time remember Dr. Mittal was there. I was asking her, when you are asked to find out the area of a glass, so how do you do that? He said, I said, we see that thing from outside. I think I mentioned it in one of your programs, mentioned it from there, but they see it from inside. They put their hand inside and they do it. So they have a different way of learning. And that's why I said in the beginning that beneficiaries and stakeholders, they have to be involved in curriculum development. And maybe small group, focus group can be prepared, which work on focused themes, and they give their input to the larger group of academicians and administrators of NCTE when they prepare the curriculum. So we have to start the process right away. We cannot wait for school education curriculum to be ready. We know what has been said in NEP, and we have to evolve ways how to implement it. I agree with some people. People say that it's a very vast policy. There are so many things, but you have to dream high. You have to relate yourself to the ground realities, and therefore you have to work very hard. So maybe this is the opportunity which we can explore for addressing groups which require special attention to come at par with other children and at least complete school education up to class 12. Then they can opt for vocational education or whatever field they get, professional education, they can go according to their interest. Next, please. Fundamental principles. This is NAP I have mentioned. I don't have to explain them. Creativity and critical thinking is very important. Local context I have already referred to. Conceptual understanding also I referred to when I was talking about Professor Mohanty. Creativity and critical thinking is very important. If the teacher keeps on teaching in the class, there is no scope for creativity. Each child has its own creativity. You give a problem to a child and the child will come out with a solution which you could never imagine. So this is creativity. Why bind the child by fixed type of teaching? So the role of teacher is changing, and more flexibility and a more freedom is to be given to the learner. And that's why we are talking of progressive teaching methodology these days, that where children do most of the things and teacher's role is only to supervise and guide. So it is not like spoon feeding to the child, but the teacher has to be active. That does not mean teacher does not have to be active. So these are some principles which are relevant to reference NEP. So next, please. I can skip it. Some milestones for children with disabilities I have mentioned here. There are so many. If I had mentioned all those, would have taken 3 slides. So you have read most of them. Salamanca statement came in 94. PWD Act 90, Persons with Disability Act was it came in 1995. Then RT Act has mentioned this thing. The latest one is RPWD Act 2016. I would like to mention about this for a while. This is the latest act, and this is Rights of Person with Disability Act. Here we have, I have mentioned it somewhere, but I'll talk about that. We have been using different terminology. Sometimes we find that it's a differently able. Sometimes we say children with disability, or sometimes we say disabled child. So these terminologies are not good to be used. This is persons with disability. This is the act which has superseded other act, PWD Act, and here we have talked, country has talked about the rights of persons with disability. Second thing, why the PWD Act was confined to 7 disabilities only. Now there are 21 disabilities which have been covered in this act. And some of these activities like hemophilia, sickle cell disease, these are health related problems of the child which have been included in this. So if the child has a blood problem, so the report card, the database of the school should mention what is the problem of the child. Suppose some child gets hurt in the field and the child is suffering from a problem where the blood does not stop. So the child has to be immediately given first aid, and that is very important because the teacher, the school, parents, everybody has to be knowledgeable about that. So some case studies have been conducted. I think Vinay Kumar Singh of NCERT, Professor Vinay Kumar Singh, has conducted a study, and he has also included these new disabilities, health-related disabilities in that project. I'm sure whenever this is available, all of you can go to the website of NCERT or talk to him and then see that what is the outcome. So this is very different. As I said, the terminology I have covered here, the teachers and other stakeholders. I hope people are listening.
Ma'am, we are all listening.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
बोर होंगे तो बता दीजिएगा, रुक जाएंगे.
No, not at all, ma'am.
No, not at all.
Otherwise, we can take some questions on this and then go ahead. I'll try to cover it because I think as 1 hour, I have enough time. Identification of disabilities is very important in the beginning, implication for teacher, because there is a committee, subcommittee of CABE when Manani Arjun Singh ji was our education minister. That time, it was said that the teachers, the recommendation was questions. I had prepared the report. I was deputed by Director NCERT to be there. And 5 ministers, 5 education ministers were also there from different states. They said the role of a general teacher and role of a special teacher have to, they have to be very different. General teacher may have some idea about this, but once it comes to learning, the special teacher has to come to help the child, and either in the class or take the child out later on and do this. If you, if some of you are aware of Balwant Rai Mehta school, which is in Greater Kailash 1, perhaps. It's near Savitri Cinema, old Savitri Cinema. I used to take my trainees from different states to that school. And then we noticed that language was a problem for hearing impaired children. So while these children were studying along with other children in the class, for language, they were taken out of that class and taught by a special teacher to acquire that knowledge. So such practices of inclusion are still continuing. This depends on the requirement of the child. But the general teacher, the classroom class teacher has to know what type of disabilities a child has or which children have which type of disability, so that proper reference, but they could be referred to specialists for interventions, and they could also, and their parents and other NGOs. NGOs have a very strong base for disability education. So now we call them Divyang Bache. They are also collaborating with the schools to help these children learn. For example, there is one National Association for Blind in RK Puram sector 2 perhaps. There are children who come to general school. There was a central school on the campus of NCRT, and there were some children, younger children. This school is up to class 5 only. And these children used to go to NAB, where the special teachers were working with them, helping them with the homework, helping them with the learning, and then they were going. So these NGOs have very strong base, and that is a very welcome sign for parents, NGOs, and special teachers who are enrolled with RCI. They are also involved in this. Curriculum access, all aspects I have written because I found that certain books were available to these children in Braille form. Now, all blind children don't use Braille. We have a friend of she's visually impaired, and she was director of an IVH Dehradun. I don't know where is she these days. I lost touch with her. She says, I don't use Braille. I use audiobooks. So there are different ways of accessing curriculum. And then curriculum access does not mean knowing subject only, learning subject. If these children, when I saw them, these 4 children, young girls, blind girls, they had Braille books for their use, but when children were playing in the field, they were not being given any alternative game to play. So learning only academics is not the purpose of education. Alternative, when children are playing in the field, at least some games could be evolved for them, and for the people who are helping children with games and other things, sports teachers जो हैं हमारे स्कूल के, they can come out with a list of activities which can be performed by these children. Even children with locomotor difficulties could do certain activities and they feel involved. This refers to social inclusion. They have to be included in the teaching also, in other activities, but there is nothing like extracurricular. Everything is curricular. Nishtha module, I'll refer, I think I referred it last year also for in some reference, last time also. Nishtha has come out with various modules. The first module is on inclusion and equity, and I'll suggest this is available on website. So those who are interested in knowing how to manage a class, how to organize activities, I'll suggest that you please see that and find time to go through it, if not extensively, at least glance through it, so you will know. Nishtha module, in Madhya Pradesh also, we organized a training program for teachers of these Eklavya school, which are running in tribal areas. I mentioned about this school, and the resource persons, I was there, a resource person connected those activities to their tribal culture, so that teachers can use this, because that's before that we had done what do you call need analysis, because the government had asked NCRT to conduct that program. I found that when we think of need assessment work, we do it as per our understanding of the area. I refer to a special question which I asked a teacher. The teacher was English teacher. and we were interacting with them, and I asked the teacher, what type of training you need for teaching these children. The school was from class 1, so younger children were also coming directly from tribal areas. And residential schools are very good school like KGBV. If you have seen one of the KGB, beautiful building, big classroom, accessible teachers, except that the principal and I think they call warden, that is the same person. Teachers are there, they are locally based or they stay very close to the school. These Eklavya Model School have fallen in love with these schools and KGBVs, which we saw, and beautiful, wonderful school. They can compete with any school, and children are so disciplined. So many activities are there. They know how to wish a person who is not even known to them. They are respectful to elders. So these values also are what do you call developed in them. Not that tribal people, they are very, very respectful for others, but the only thing is they are very shy in interacting with people from other communities, thinking they don't know how we will take them, but that is very important. Once you talk to them, I will mention some of the my interactions with the girls especially, you really enjoy talking to them and you don't want to come away home because it's so beautiful. They have beautiful heart. So could we go to the next slide, please? Children, what here I have mentioned some of these things, pedagogical adaptations, as I said, that each child learns in a different way. Learning outcomes have been prepared by NCERT for primary level, and the secondary level also were under preparation. I'm sure it was put for some time on the website, and some, I think, pagination was problem or something. It was drawn, so it should be available or it might be available in a hard copy form. Social access I mentioned. Experiential learning has been mentioned throughout NEP. Experiential learning is what we say, what they experience in life. So connecting every learning with their culture is important. So we have to reduce the load of classroom teaching so that there is a scope for these pedagogical interventions in the class. So once it's a content, later on I've mentioned content versus pedagogy. I think this has to be taken care of both in the school education curriculum and teacher education curriculum. Sign language I have mentioned. Resource mobilization is a problem here. I'll take these 2 points together. In one of the schools, we found KGBV, Kasturba Balika Vidyalaya. There was a girl, she was handicapped, Divyanti, physically, and she had not gone to the assembly. So while children were doing prayer, we just had a quick round of classrooms and we found this girl sitting in the class. So she was hiding because she thought that she had not gone for the assembly and she will be scolded. So no, Vinay was with us. He's a person who is specialized in special education. He went to it and found out his special training is from MH Secunderabad. He talked to her and then he found that simple exercises on board, drawing a line, asking the child to go up on the board in the same line, or drawing, you have a floor and there is a demarcation line, you have to ask the child to walk on that line. So that these are simple exercises which could be used with that child to improve her, mobility. So we found that we asked the teacher, they said, you don't have a special teacher in the school. They said, there is a special teacher who comes to a nearby government school, but KGBVs are not covered under that, so they don't come here. So this is not required. I think once they have talked about school complexes, that is the purpose, that whatever resources are available in the area, they should be available to all the schools. And there are teachers, they have mentioned the teachers of physical education, games, art, they can keep on visiting different schools and give their input. So these what do you call it, school complexes does not mean bringing all schools together and putting a boundary and putting them together. No, it's basically organizational. And when we have a resource teacher at the block level, the responsibility of all the schools. Schools are schools. Children are learners, whether they are studying in a Navodaya Vidyalaya or General Vidyalaya or Eklavya School or KGBV, they have to be used, and all resources are country's resources, country's expertise. So that should be, I think we should think in terms of sharing our resources with other sector of schools, and sharing is a very good value. We teach ourselves to ourselves also, we teach other students also that you have to share, except in these days when children are asked not to share their, when they are going to school again. Some child said that we are asked to bring our own stationery in the schools and not to share. This is precautionary measure. So as I said, new normal, we cannot make it a law, but sharing of resources and sharing of expertise should be encouraged in the education system. We are working. Research and development has been mentioned here, and there is a different, I think, organization which is going to be created. I'm not sure. I read it somewhere. For research. So research, whatever research has been done, whatever materials are available, they should be collected and they should be made the basis for development of material for teachers. It's important when we talk about experiential learning, teachers also have to know about the area we are working in. We should restrain from making wrong statements. We can always say, as I said, I'm not sure. So I'm not supposed to know everything, but we have to be very careful. I'm pained to mention a particular incident. There was a group of foreigners who had come for consultation to India, and there was a small group. This was after my retirement, not NCERT. They had come to know about the children from disadvantaged sector, and one professor, I won't say male or female, one person was also there, and that person said, we don't have any juggies in Delhi. I was taken aback. I said, why should we say this thing? That Mumbai has juggies, but Delhi does not have. We have so many juggies. Your students, when they go for field work, शादीपुर डिपो के पास भी बहुत सारे हैं. इवन IITO पे बैक साइड में बहुत सारी झुग्गियां थी. संजय नेहरू प्लेस के पीछे बहुत बड़ा क्लस्टर है झुग्गियों का. इतनी सारी झुग्गियां हैं यहाँ पे. आप दिल्ली पे स्टेशन पे आओ तो यू कैन सी सो मेनी झुग्गी बाहर से आते समय दिल्ली में. So we should not make any comment unless we are sure of that. That is what is required from educated people like us, and we say we are educated. This was by chance, I just remembered it. Next please. Education. Now we have talked about disabilities, pedagogies. Especially schools have evolved very good pedagogies for this thing. So there should be integration of it. Scheduled castes are, as you know, they are part of our system, but they are on a particular schedule. Scheduled castes are not Dalits. I will not say they are Dalits, but they are on the 5th and 6th schedule. So they are called scheduled castes. They have socioeconomic problems mostly, and several of them are coming from with poor backgrounds. So since they did not have opportunity to go to school. Several, not all of them. Some are very in high position and they're very well educated. But most of them who are at the lower level, who are working still as laborers or are not educated, and the thing they come like agriculture laborers, fisheries, weavers. Weavers are, you go to Banaras area and then Badawi area, you will find they don't have enough things. I visited their house. Their house is confined to one room. They are basically socio-economic problems are there, and because of that, they are sanitation laborers, bonded laborers. Bonded labor, they said we have removed bonded labor thing, but we still know that this is not the situation everywhere. Nomadic and somadic. In Delhi, you have we as a graduates of Mahamanam BHU, we work for different communities, and one of our branch, Indraprastha branch, works for Gadia Lohar community. The Gadia Lohar community is nomadic tribes of Rajasthan, and they are not. They are the people who work for Maharana Pratap, and they said that we will not settle down. We will not make houses and we settle down. We will always be moving with him and then working. Gadia Lohar, जो कि लोहे के सामान बनाते हैं, वो सब करते हैं. उनके बच्चों के साथ काम करते हैं. उनके कुछ हमने ट्रेनिंग में I participated, I interacted with their teachers. They have appointed young boys and girls. Some of them are from the same community who are helping these children who are from that community going to school. And it's very sanskar kendra as well as helping, and they are being giving education. So I interacted with them because most of the teachers who are working, it's very for a small amount, it's a voluntary work. They are not trained. So I got them some material and then talked to them about the methodology of teaching, especially at the primary level. So these are the people who are not, they are not, what do you call it? They are not rich. No, they are very poor. And Musahars from Bihar, I had been interacted. I had seen their houses. The whole house, the whole belonging, all the belongings of their house was confined to one gutteri only. So there used to be one Samanvay ashram. It is still there. Dwarka Sundarani ji is not there. He is no more. But they had adopted one child from each family. If it was a boy, he was kept in the residential area of in the village only, in the agriculture area, where he was taught through how to make manure, खाद कैसे बनाते हैं, फसल का कैसे करते हैं. So this information was in, and if it was a girl child, she was kept in the ashram, which was at Bodh Gaya. So उनके इसमें बहुत very little belongings there. They're very poor. You can't imagine unless you go and see that. उनके उसमें उन्होंने थोड़ा सा health के डाले थे कि पालक के बीज seeds दिए थे, and they said कि if they have water, so if they put it, at least they will get iron. Food deficiency उनकी cover हो जाएगी. So there are different issues SCs की है, but with this reservation for SC, I think special components plan are there. I think in the next slide में है मेरे. Can we go to the next? Education issue. All children are still not enrolled. If children don't get opportunity, there is a limitation of schools also. They cannot go beyond, I think, 3 to 5 kilometer. If the children are far, they don't get admission in the school. Contextualization of learning, as I said, is one of the reasons for a dropout, because children can't relate present education system, like the example given by the teacher in the class, especially at the beginning, to their environment. Whatever they have learned at home, whatever norms they have, whatever traditions they have, whatever system they have, that is not reflected in neither in the textbooks nor in the pedagogy used by the teacher. So, or at home they don't have their parents are not educated. That is the reason when these are the things which have to be addressed. Facilities and a lot of benefit schemes have been, merit cum means scholarships are there, both post-metric and post-metric scholarships are there. But at times, when they need something, they don't have access to that. If I'm hungry and I don't get food today, just now, and after 2 hours, I am giving a beautiful plate full of so many things, it is of no use because I was hungry at a particular time and my need was not satisfied. So these things, whether we are talking of books, we are talking scholarships, these are not reaching, though we accept, since I was part of certain committees when I was in job, there are certain hurdles in submission of what you call requirement of benefits to be available or to be released to schools. They don't reach in time. So once they don't reach in time, they lose their value. So children become very doubtful whether they will continue to gain that, to be benefited by the lack of general awareness. This is what I've mentioned in other sections also. I'll mention, I'll talk about that. When I was visiting a KGBV in an area, and it was, since they were residential school and we were there in the school till late. I was the only, I think, female member in that group. Other were males. So this is a girls, and the girls said, told other people, the coordinator, that you leave her with us for the night, and we will send her tomorrow. So they were so attached with me because they were missing their families, especially mothers, young girls. They were missing their family. So I was talking, I sat with them for some while these people were seeing other facilities. One of the girl asked me, I still remember her. She says, she was in class 11. She says, I want to become a doctor. And I don't know how can I, because my parents are very poor and they can never afford the scheme. That time I thought, I did not know what schemes are available for her, this thing. But now I know Ministry of Tribal Affairs, if the girl is coming from a tribal community, that offers me scholarship for higher education also and professional education also. So this information is neither available to the child who has an aspiration, nor to the teachers who could help their child. But she asked me as an outsider, but if she had interacted with a teacher, maybe teachers don't know. So there is a lack of, I think, awareness about various resources available, support system available. Government is doing so much, states are doing so much, both state and central government are doing, but that information has to be available to them. So I think occasional address, since they have all the technology, could be arranged at the district level to reach people and then tell them what are the facilities which are available to them for what do you call, meeting their aspirations. Aspirations तो अच्छे हैं, ड्रीम भी ऊंचे देखने चाहिए, तभी उसमें अचीव करने के लिए फोकस्ड हमारा अप्रोच हो सकता है. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. इसमें मैंने एक वानखेड़े साहब की दी है. ही इज इन टाटा इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ सोशल साइंसेज मुंबई. पुरानी है स्टडी, लेकिन मैंने इनको दिया था जब एक बार इन्होंने एक हमारे प्रोग्राम में बोला था. किसी ने कहा दैट ही though he himself belongs to scheduled caste, say कि though he is from, किसी के दूसरे के लिए कहा था, though he is from scheduled caste but he is well read and a very good professor. So he said this, though he is from scheduled caste, this is attitude which is in our mind, and there was no need of saying that. Individuals knowledge, individuals caliber should be respected as an individual, and there should not be any reference to caste. And this has to be consciously taken away from our mind. And no one else except ourselves can do that. Sorry, next please. Scheduled tribes. I'll try to wind up. Vision flight, so many. Scheduled tribes are, as mentioned here, characterized by this thing. Geographical good, less facilities are there, shyness of contact with others, I said, vulnerable groups, because they don't open up, they are not knowledgeable about other world, they are likely to be exploited by people, but they are becoming wiser now. And socio-economic backwardness there. If you know their work, their craft and skills, as I said, you'll find the traditional touches beautiful. And even if we go for purchase on Diwali or some occasion, we look for craft work done by tribals, beautiful. And if you go to, we had seen the place, and then we went to Bhopal airport. On airport, there these pieces are framed and then put on the display, and they are also available for purchase. So these are, they have very, very rich traditions, and I think some of the startups also have started using them when we are talking of Atmanirbhar Bharat. It's made in India, made by India. So that is a very what do you call, upcoming area where people are exporting their craft and skills and the world, and they are making world knowledgeable, and they are very even appreciated abroad in other countries. So these are the characteristics. This is the scenario. Tribal scheduled tribes. As I said, scheduled tribes are also on the schedule. So that's why they are called scheduled. They are not a different sector, but they're very strong cultural traditions, very, very strong culture, and which is rich also. Next, please. Here I have given some this thing, education, empowerment, and employment. As I mentioned, I recently interacted with it. I had taken three E's for working for tribal communities. Like general population is not homogeneous. It's not good to think that tribal population is one population. For example, if you go to their education scenario is also not at par. If you go to Bilgond, Oraon, Ho, Khadia, or Minas of Rajasthan, you will find that Minas are very well developed, and you will find a lot of Minas coming in administrative services these days. The village has so many educators that education level is very high. But if you go to other branches, you'll find that some of them are still very backward. And some of them, if you go to Andaman Nicobar, you'll find that there are tribes which have very few members left. I had worked for Andaman Nicobar and other states which were hit by tsunami. I was leading the team on behalf of NCRT, and that time we visited some of these people. They're very, very scary. That was, they were completely washed away from the system. The schools were gone and everything. So these are interior area, they could not come. And this equality of gender is not an issue there. But you'll find that women of like the Meghalaya, I said Khasi community, these women, but they are in the SMCs, the school management committees, but they could not interact with people like us who were there to either help them or then know their roles and functions. They cannot they can speak their own language, but and regional language to some extent, but not other languages. So it's very difficult. And then you'll feel, I'll mention it, that women are, I'm talking of adult women, not girls. They are having problem because they are either uneducated or they have very little education, and that's why their share in employment, I have a word used, the word employment, is very, very low. And parents want social security for their children. Tribal communities, yes, I was very happy about this. There was a child in 1 KGBV from a very distant area. Those who were knowledgeable about Jharkhand, they said, that is very far. Why have you come here? Can't you go to KGBV, which is nearest? So said no, because their parents wanted their social security. She was sent away, and even for holidays, she does not go home. Several children, they don't go home even for holidays because they like the environment and they want to learn. So this is a social will which is coming forward. So we should appreciate it and then help these children, give our input also in the system so that they learn and they are aware of further avenues. After completing a school education, they can settle down in life with dignity and respect, whatever that is, as per their competencies and skills. Next, please. Here I have continue the multidimensional approach, welfare, empowerment, education. As I said, there are so many departments which are working for tribal education of children from tribes. Navodaya Vidyalayas is some examples of these schools. Navodaya Vidyalayas are basically for rural talent. KGBVs I've mentioned, residential model Eklavya school. At the moment there were 284 schools, out of which 226 schools are functional. And this is a scheme of Ministry of Tribal Affairs. But these schools are not only for children from tribal area, they are schools exclusively from primitive tribes, where children are staying. Residential area is residential schools is there, huge complex is there, and the attached is the school. We went to their mess also, where they take food, and we found it was reasonably good. It was very good with the schools which we visit. So as I said, I have fallen in love with Eklavya schools and KGBVs. But since we are in Delhi, we don't have that much tribal population in Delhi, except those who are in job and they have moved to Delhi. I know where have I mentioned, maybe next this thing, that 50% tribal people next week have moved away from their traditional habitats, and they have come to the city. ST's medium of instruction, I mentioned about some schools I mentioned. Bilingual textbooks, I like to talk about that. Long back, NCERT had taken up several progress of development of bilingual textbooks, where CIIL Mysore and people from Jharkhand state also were involved in preparation of material. We were the content givers, and then they were putting it in their language. The problem is, recently when we went there, they said that bilingual textbooks are not being used and everybody is being given education through Hindi. So I think there cannot be a prescribed system. Bilingual textbooks may be necessary at the initial stage when the child is being what do you call, is transaction from home language to state language. There has to be some place, because children who do not understand the language of textbooks, which is in regional language, they are at par. And if teachers are also, teachers know the language, then it's okay, they can explain. But all the teachers are not knowledgeable about that. So the teacher education policy, teacher education curriculum is not sufficient. Teacher recruitment policy, and I think NAP has mentioned that people from local areas should be given preference for, should be posted in that area, so they are knowledgeable. One thing about the lecture culture, second thing about the language, third thing about other traditions and customs, so they don't do mistakes while and they don't hurt anybody's sentiments. Everybody's language, culture and dignity is to be respected. Concept formation, multilingual situation, I have mentioned. Next, please. It's 1:45. I should. STs, I have TRIs are tribal research institutes are doing. They have to work for their states. All states don't have TRIs, but there is a scheme of in strengthening TRIs also. For vocational training, as I said, if vocational training is given to people from tribal areas in the skills and the craft they have, they can excel in their production and then get their economic status also raised. And tribal properly equitable curriculum, I have already mentioned. Next, please. Employment scenario, I will like to only 10% of ST job seekers were placed in 2016. See, 10% of the total ST population. And the total ST population is 77.5% of the total population. This is 18 figure, and I have given the reference. NSSO data says that 4.8% are in salaried employment, and the large number are self-employed or casual workers. So you can see there is a need for promoting education for people from tribal areas. People means children from tribal areas. I'm so happy if this budget is passed and new schools are opened. 758 children will get opportunity to free education with all the facilities and this thing, good teachers. And in some states they are getting preference for employment also. If they are a product for tribal area, so children from tribal communities are getting this thing. But this has to be, since this is a state subject also, I think states will have an opportunity to think about it. As I said, the women and people with only primary education have a problem. Women they can't communicate. They speak their own native language and they can't communicate. They don't get job. So this was the employment scenario. And since education and employment, they are interlinked, it's important for us to know where we have to give our input and for what. Next, please. Minorities. Minorities are integral part of our society. Usually when we think of minorities, we think of only Muslims. No, there are several minorities which are linguistic minorities, educationally backward minorities, and we think the cultural diversity is to be respected by all. And if you expect them to be part of our society, you have to give them respect. So this is important. Schemes are there. Merit and means scheme is also there. So these benefit of these schemes have to reach them. And this is so people who are below poverty line, I think the problems of first generation learners is all the same, maybe more acute in certain cases, but across different groups of special groups, I mean, they have to be taken care of. But we know this is very conscious effort that we should concentrate on school education, the formal curriculum, and we should not interfere with the religious education imparted by. I'm very clear about that. We should not interfere because that is our constitutional commitment, and constitution means our commitment. Thank you. Next week. Urban, there are other groups. I have focused on some groups. There are other groups also. You will find that they are displaced persons, children are moving with people. If you go to a labor area where laborers are staying, you will find a lot of people are moving around with things to Delhi and then going back. So their children education is very working. Street children. Street children, I think personally, they are still a problem for us. You will find so many street children in Delhi also, and there were different types of programs which were evolved by NGOs like Platform Schools and nothing, but they are the people. This is a very hard group to be brought into the school system. And therefore, if we still have a scope for NGOs to come forward and then take care of them at the local level. Next, please. You already know that. Digital resources I talked about. Our children are now digital. What do you call it? Digitally competent, and certain things which have been mentioned here that can be used for their education. So there is a lot of scope for distance education and face-to-face offline education to take care. Everything cannot be handled by the school, so there should be other options also available for children too. Next, please. I think some points might have been mentioned by other speakers, and there is a special session for pre-service and in-service teacher training after today. So we can stop here, and then if you have some input to be given, if you are not bored sitting, must be feeling very hungry, is going to be 2 o'clock. So we can end up here. Last one was to recapitulate. Can we go to the last slide? Diversity, opportunity to explore, diversity and opportunity which can be exploited by us. And though it's a very difficult, even if we do that, we'll find hurdles, but unless you identify what are the hurdles and barriers, we can never remove those barriers. So we can think of alternative approaches to remove those barriers. One thing is schools. I have heard personally several experiences of students while conducting exam. We find that schools have schools give different experience to students. Some of the schools have given all the roles to the practicing teacher trainees to work and then learn, but several schools had selected activities for their trainees for 6 months training, and this is a very difficult area. I think we should prepare schools, and the existing schools should be willing to help these trainees to acquire actual knowledge and the grassroots knowledge attached or related with the reality to be ready for future role. If I don't know what difficulties I might face when I take up a job as a school teacher, I will never be able to evolve ways. And we talk of critical thinking and we talk of creativity, but we still have a rigid system to go forward. So there should be a lot of flexibility and opportunity could be utilized. Thank you very much, Dr. Bhalla, you and team, and Guru Nanak College of Education as an institution for letting me talk to you.
Sir, ये
I
on नहीं हो
hope
रहा
I have not bored you. Sorry.
No, no, not at all, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your session. This session is now open for questions for the audience.
Questioning and inputs.
Questioning and inputs. If anyone has any input for this session and wants to share something, any of the views, they can either write it in the chat box or raise their hands, or either they can unmute themselves and ask their question.
No question at 2 o'clock. People must be feeling very hungry.
All right, then it brings us to the end of our session. Thank you so much, ma'am, for such diversified session on the special needs children. This session is very informative. This brings us to the end of today's session. And before we move further, I would request our principal ma'am, Dr. Jyoti Bhalla ma'am, to please give a vote of thanks to Professor Neerja Shukla ma'am.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Hello.
I
हम तो
wish
आपके फैमिली के मेंबर हैं, आप मुझे थैंक्स क्यों दे रही हैं? It's always a
ma'am,
pleasure to be with you.
ma'am, you're such a nice and gentle and very ground to earth personality. A very internationally renowned personality of education of our educational fraternity. So I wish to extend my generous thanks to Professor Neerja Shukla, the former head Department of Education of Groups with Special Needs, NCERT, and former consultant cum faculty advisor for Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University, for giving us insight on national policy of education and preparing teachers for inclusion of diversified groups, issues, and challenges. I take this opportunity to put all my gratitude into words. We thank her for explaining to us with the help of practical examples and making it easier to comprehend. Thank you so much, ma'am. I would also like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to the management committee of the college and also everyone, including our viewers who are attached with us in person or virtually. We look forward to meet again for the 5th day of this faculty development program. There will be 2 sessions tomorrow. First one will be conducted by Dr. Anjali Shaukin, the Assistant Professor, University School of Education of Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University, on the topic Higher Education, including Teacher Education in Light of National Policy of Education 2020. And second session will be conducted by Dr. Amit Ahuja, the Assistant Professor, University School of Education, same Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University, on the topic In-Service Professional Development of Teachers and Skill Development among Students. I'm sure their presence will work as a valuable treasure for all of us, helping us to stay updated and learn more and more. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Bhalla. Thank you and namaskar.
Namaskar.
Thank you so much, ma'am. This brings us to the end of today's session. We must find time to stop and thank people, and we must find time to thank our nation. So I would request you all to kindly stand for national anthem. Thank you.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जन गण मन.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, everyone who was part of this wonderful session. Your presence made it a memorable one. Thank you so much. Bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
You
ma'am.
conducted it very well.
Thank you so much.
और डॉक्टर भल्ला की तो मैं फैन हूँ.
Ma'am, it's all your blessings.
अंकिता नहीं दिख रही है, उसको भी थैंक्स दे देना.
जी जी जी.
कल मैं बहुत डिस्टर्ब थी, हमने कहा गड़बड़ हो जाएगा, तो शी वाज कंसोलिंग मी. चलो, टेक केयर.
Thank you, ma'am.
And have your lunch now.
Ah.
Enjoy it. Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye,
you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
मैम अपना कैमरा
Participants can leave the meeting now. Attendance is already being downloaded. Participants kindly leave the meeting.